Good evening and welcome to Frederick High School. We have a lot to go over tonight, so I want to get started so you guys have enough time to walk your schedule. My name is David Franceschina. I'm the principal here at Frederick. It was great meeting so many students last week. So like I said, we got a lot to cover, so let's get into it. So high school is a place where academic expectations are raised significantly, academic choice opens doors and opportunities, personal characteristic is created, tested, and as necessary, recreated. One thing that I told students when you guys came to student orientation last week, one of the big differences between middle school and high school is to move on to the next level, you have to earn credit. So to earn credit, number one, you have to pass the class, but what's the most important thing is you need to be here. A reason why we see a lot of kids not move to the next level is because if you have more than 5 illegal absences, you run risk of not earning credit for the class. So it's very important that students show up every day and do the best they can on their classwork so they can bump up to the next level. As I said, my name is David Franceschina. I am the principal here. I am blessed to have a great admin team. The assistant principals are broken down by last name, so you can see up here if your last name is A through CI, you'll work with Miss Murphy. CL to HA, Miss Hackett. HE through MO, Mr. Perry. Oops, too much. Come on. MU to SM is Miss Garvin. Miss Garvin is new to us this year. And for our ML students, you'll be working, if your last name is A through RI, you'll work with Mr. Chari. And Miss O'Neill will work with students' last names SN through Z. And if you're an ML student, and ML is the new acronym for English Learner Student, it stands for multilingual, you'll work with Miss O'Neill. Assistant principals get a really bad rap. A lot of students don't want to talk to the assistant principal because those are the people you talk to if you made a not so wise choice and now you have to face the consequences. And not going to lie to you, assistant principals are in charge of discipline in our building, but more importantly, they are the advocate for students. So if you need help talking to a teacher, you don't understand something that's going on in class, something doesn't make sense, and this goes for teachers, this goes for students and it goes for parents. The assistant principals, along with the school counselors, are really your first line of people you want to talk to. So if something doesn't seem right to you, call an assistant principal. We'll see what we can do to help you out. Also, some important names, just to remember, and a lot of these slides, feel free to take pictures as you go. However, by tomorrow, this slide deck will be posted to the FCPS, to our Frederick High School website, and I will also send it as a find out first. So don't feel that you have to write all this down. And the APs are actually videotaping this as well, so this whole presentation will be posted online for you to review. But having said that, if you are a student with a 504 plan, you'll be working with Miss O'Neill or a behavioral specialist, Miss Bird. If you are a student with an IEP getting special education services, if you need to know who your case manager is, today when this presentation is done, if you go upstairs, you can meet your case manager, and our program assistant is Miss Destani Smith, and she will be the one that will be giving you a call when it's time to set up an annual meeting. We do have a mission statement here at Frederick High School. I'll give you a second to read that. But the most important sentence for me is that first one. Frederick High School students will take an active role in their educational journey. We are the only Lynx school in the district, and frankly, we're the only Lynx school in the state of Maryland. We're the only Lynx school on the East Coast. And what that means is your students, by virtue of Frederick High School students, are all Lynx students and have so many opportunities available to them that are not available at any of the other FCPS schools. We believe strongly that we want to make the idea of college and career ready something tangible. I think too many times when we say career ready, we're focused on jobs and not necessarily a career that will provide a livable wage. One thing that Lynx does is we try to hook students up to find that career exploration. And on the college side, it's not our goal to have your student graduate in 4 years knowing what their major is. That's just too much, and quite frankly, I think as a society, we start them way too young that you have to decide. I mean, I'm 45 and I'm still trying to decide what I want to be when I grow up. And to ask these kids to figure it out right now, it's not fair. But what we do want to do is we want to try to narrow it down to a couple choices. So when they do go off to college, they can declare a major, and they might change it, they may not change it, but they specifically know what they want to do. A perfect Lynx story that I have was a couple years ago, before the pandemic. We took a Lynx experience of students that said they wanted to do medicine when they left high school. So we had a partner at FMH, and we took about 20 kids over to do a tour of the emergency room. And as we came back, there was a student sitting towards the back of the bus, and it just looked like Christmas was canceled for her. So I sat down next to her. I said, so what's going on? And the tears started. I really wanted to do medicine. I said, yeah, and? But there was so much blood. I can't deal with blood. I'm like, oh, you wanted to do medicine? You don't want to do blood. But what we got to do with our Lynx advocate was she sat down with one of our advocates, and they looked at all the different careers available to them with medicine. It doesn't necessarily involve the emergency room. To our students that are ML students, I can't tell you how in demand you are all over the place, because as a workforce, Frederick County and the entire state of Maryland is just begging for people that are multilingual. So we want to give you those skills, so when you leave, if you choose to go to college, you choose to go to a trade school, you choose to go to the military, you have all the necessary skills to be successful. And with that, I would like to introduce our SGA president, Ms. Mira Denny.
Hi everyone, my name is Mira Denny. I'm the Student Government Association president this year, and on behalf of all the students, welcome to Frederick High School. Now, for those of you that are freshmen, you're starting a new chapter here at Frederick High School, and by taking advantage of all the amazing things that the SGA puts on throughout the year, you're going to make your time here really, really special. We're going to be kicking things off this year with our annual leadership conference. It's going to be hosted September 8th. It'll run from 6 to 10:30 p.m. and it's a great evening. It's full of games and workshops, all focused around building your leadership skills, and it's open to all upperclassmen and underclassmen, and it's totally free. We just ask that you usually bring a donation for a charity that we like to support. And then throughout the year, we've got our pep rally and Spirit Week in the fall, and then we've got things like our staff versus student basketball game in the winter. So there's a lot of fun things going on. Just make sure you keep your eyes peeled so that you can participate. And then for the students, if you ever see me and you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to talk to me. I'm here for you guys, so don't hesitate. Whatever you have, I'm more than happy to talk to you guys. That's all I have. Thank you.
So next up, I would like to introduce Ms. Jennifer Goodrich. Ms. Goodrich is the president of our SGA.
Make that the PTSA. Thank you all. Welcome to Frederick High. We are very excited to start a new chapter. This is the QR code if you would like to join the PTSA. Joining the PTSA does not mean that you have to attend meetings. What that means is that you are supporting your teachers, your students, and all the staff here. It's a great place for communication. We send out as much information as we have. A couple of things I have for you tonight are: one, if you don't know about redistricting, you should. Walk out this, when you exit the auditorium here, you want to see the table on the right. We have good flyers that will provide information about that. We're actually hosting a Lido's restaurant night tonight, so when you leave here, head straight to Lido's over on on Prospect Avenue, off of Jefferson. Pick up some dinner. That'll make things easier for the evening. And please think about joining the PTSA so that we can continue to support the staff appreciation dinner that we just had for the staff tonight, and other events throughout the year, including Care for Kids, purchasing caps and gowns for students who need them, lunches, things like that. Our table is right outside. Thank you.
And just a couple other school-based people that you may want to look up. Kevin Hammond is our athletic director. We are lucky this year. We actually have 2 community liaisons instead of 1. So we have Ms. Anna Mejia, who will be working with our ML students, and Ms. Kimberly Cochran, who will be working with our general students. This will be, if you're taking pictures, this would be a good slide. Another important person that's here, the last one, is Deputy Robert Eiler. He is a Frederick County deputy that is stationed in our school. So Deputy Eiler is great if kids or parents just have any questions about what's going on in the community. Deputy Eiler has been a great resource for parents. So if you would like to talk to somebody, he's a good guy to call. Just call the main school and ask for our school resource officer. And as I said, special education, if your student gets an IEP when this presentation is done, if you go upstairs on the second floor to room 224, all the case managers are there if you would like to meet your student's case manager. So with that, I would like to turn it over to an important person. This is Ms. Patty Lombardi.
Hi, everyone. I am Patty Lombardi. I am the Department Chair of Student Services here at Frederick High School. And I want to tell you a little bit about what we do here in Student Services. So what we don't do different than middle school is we are not the disciplinarian, so that would be your AP, although we will help your student maybe make better choices. We guide students on graduation requirements, goals, help plan for all post-secondary options, plan for specialized programs while they're here so you get the best experience while you're with us, provide assistance with academic difficulties, support students with emotional stress, times of change, and connect to mental health resources both here and outside of the community. I am 100% sure that we have by far the best student services team in Frederick County, and I would like to introduce them all to you. First, we have Miss Jessica Wismer, who will be with students whose last name are A through CH. We have Miss Cherie Anderson working with students CI through GL. Laren Anderson, GO through LE. I'm Miss Lombardi, LI through MI. We have Miss Maggie Meineke, MO through RI. We have Pat Foster, RO through SH, and he also works with our ML students, P through Z, so he has 2 different roles. James Clancy, who cannot be here with us tonight, but he is SI through Z. And we have Miss Maggie Gilligan. She will be our our ML counselor, A through O. Kara Dragan, many of you may already know her if you are a new student here with us tonight. She did all the records for you for your enrollment. We have Miss Lindsay Kurtz, our secretary. Miss Casey Bird, is she here? She is our behavior support specialist. She's running around somewhere. And Miss Brittany Ferguson, also known as Coach Britt, is also our secretary down in Student Services. All right, graduation requirements. So the magic number is 25, and you do not have to memorize these because that is our job to make sure that all of you are leaving here graduating with your graduation requirements. But we have 4 English credits, 1 each year. And instruction can be differentialized between AP, honors, on grade level, as well as support if you are struggling as well. For math credits, algebra, geometry must be 2 of those maths. You must take a math every year. A lot of our students, many of you may be coming to middle school with math credits. Some of you may already have earned your 4 math credits by the time you are a junior. The answer is yes, you still have to take a math your senior year. It is a state mandate, so even though you may have earned 4 math credits before the time you graduate, you still have to take the math every year. 3 credits of science, biology is one of those, American studies, government, modern world history, fine art, tech education, half credit of fitness, half credit of health your freshman year, and Health 2 will be your junior year. So that is now called Health 1 and Health 2. A half credit of your financial literacy, and 2 credits in a completer at least 2 credits in a completer program. The best way to describe a completer program is that group of classes that you take in high school that help prepare you for what you want to do after high school, whether it is for your college, whether it is career path. So we work with you with a group of courses for your high school completer. And then the rest of the courses can be taken, we call those elective classes or career pathways. So this gives you an opportunity to explore different courses or different subject areas that you might have interest in. 75 student service learning hours, and those hours are infused into the curriculum. But we do encourage everyone to go out in the community and earn additional student service learning hours. And also the completion of your Maryland State assessments, which you will be hearing more about throughout the year, as well as next year. All right, schedule change process. This is like the hot topic everywhere in high school these first couple weeks, right? So it is important to know any schedule change request we are asking in writing, just so we know that parents know as well that you're asking to have your schedule changed. So we request are in writing with the parent's signature. But please understand, we cannot always honor schedule change requests, especially when it comes to electives. Those fill very fast, and we work a whole year ahead to get these, to have classes here based on students' requests. So we will do our best to honor a schedule change, but that might not always work, okay? If there is an incorrect course level, if you're missing a graduation requirement, that's more so for our upper classmen, because your 9th and 10th grade, you're going to have all graduation requirements. Improper sequencing or a class that you may have already had. Those would be some reasons to change your schedule. All right, and tonight you will be receiving a paper copy of your schedule if you are an incoming freshman, but it will have the entire year on there. So just know that marking periods 1, 2, that is what you're looking at tonight in order to walk, if you wanted to walk those first semester classes. Marking period 3, 4, that will be for second semester, so you can take note what you will have second semester as well. 2 marking terms will equal a semester. So those students who are in a half credit class, such as health, fitness, health 2, or a financial literacy class, those will be 0.5, or those will be term classes, and you will see those by like an M1, M2, M3, and M4. Last but not least, 2.5 is your advocacy, which we will be having on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That is at the bottom of your schedule, and you will have that all year long, okay? And at the end of this presentation, counselors will be available in the Commons area. We will be separated. You'll see the alphabet at the top of the windows, and we will have your schedules ready for you. So after the presentation, you can come out and get the schedule, and we'll be available for any questions. Have a great night, and welcome to Frederick.
So now we get to talk about some of the opportunities that are available. Oh, no, we're not done yet. Now I get to talk about some of the opportunities that are available to you through LINCS. So our LINCS advocates, if you went to one of our feeder schools, if you went to West Fred, you went to Crestwood, or you went to any of the charter schools, you've already met with your LINCS advocate. They actually go in starting in November, and they start making connections with kids to get them ready for high school. So students work with advocates year-round, but the most heavy time they work with the advocates are during that first year and that 8th grade year. And what it is to find out, what do you want to do when you leave high school? Do you want to go to college? Do you want to get a job? Do you want to go into the military? Because what we try to do is pair those students up with appropriate business partners. The 10th grade year, during that advocacy block Ms. Lombardi talked about, we actually have business partners to come in to work with our 10th graders on soft skills. This is how you do a job interview. This is how you fill out a resume. They have one session called Duties as Assigned. So students know what employers are looking for. This is also a great way for students to make connections with the business community. We have a career fair where a lot of our business partners come in at the end of the spring semester during one of our lunch shifts, and they're actually hiring students on the spot. So if you're looking for a summer job, it's a great way of doing it. We also take college trips. We try to hit the major Maryland schools, try to go into Shepherd. But if we have a large group of students that say, hey, I'm thinking about going to Georgetown, all they would do is tell that to the LINCS advocate, and the LINCS advocate will put a trip together where Frederick High School students can actually go down to Georgetown and see what it's like to be a Georgetown student. Again, the goal is not for you to choose your major right now. The goal is when you leave us, you have a better understanding of what is out there. So our advocates, new to us this year, but not new. So Miss Tongji, the kids call her TG. She was an English teacher. She is now a LINCS advocate. Mr. Moran, Mr. Marina, Mr. Menino, and Miss Sands. If you would like to meet one of our LINCS advocates, they're all upstairs on the 3rd floor when you do your tour. This is such a cool thing that is only available at Frederick High. It's called Credit by Demonstrated Mastery. This is a way that students can earn credit for outside experiences that they have. If you are on a sports team, I highly recommend that you pay attention. If you're in the marching band, I recommend that you pay attention. Marching band and one of our sports teams, those are an example of if you want to do credit by demonstrated mastery and you're in an activity that aligns the standards of a class, you can go out and do that activity, show that you've met the standards. If you're going for Fitness for Life, you'll be working with Mr. Rhodes, and you can actually earn your Fitness for Life credit while you're on the team, while you're in the marching band. And the nice thing about that is that frees up one class. I used to be a band teacher a million years ago, and Calculus 3 was the bane of my existence. All of my seniors couldn't fit band into their schedule anymore because they wanted to take Calc 3. If they had this opportunity when they were in marching band with me, when they were with me marching band freshman year, that's one class they could have knocked out. We have kids that get their required technology credit done by being in our robotics club. We have a student that he actually earned credit in Japanese. Frederick County Public Schools doesn't offer Japanese, but he went out and found an experience he could do, work with a teacher to show that he could meet those standards, and he graduated with Japanese credit. The big thing to take away, if this sounds like something that you want to do, you need to see your school counselor, because you need to fill out the forms before the activity starts. So while athletics did start, what we have said, we're going to have a little bit of a grace period for the next 2 weeks. But if you are an athlete, you're in the marching band, highly recommend you knock out that fit credit with credit by demonstrated mastery to free up your schedule a little bit. Another thing that we have that is unique to Frederick High School, we believe strongly that academic grades need to be that, academic grades. Behavior should not influence a grade, but behavior is still important. So students do get graded in independence, in effort in class, attendance, and social responsibility. And when you go into Schoology in the classroom, you'll actually see where the teachers are ranking your students 1 through 4 on that. When you get an interim, when you get a report card, a paper copy of the Habits of Work will go home. Habits of Work do not go in the cumulative file, and they do not go to college. But this is what we're hoping is to start the conversation between you and the teacher. The thing that I don't like about the report card now, the only qualitative feedback we can give is like, pleasure to have in class, or is a hard worker. This gets you a little bit more information. As a parent, if I see that my student is going to be going into an honors college, if my student is going to be going into the military on the officer track, if I really want my student walking out of here with leadership, the conversation that I'm having with him or her is, I want to be seeing 3s and 4s. And if I don't see 3s and 4s in Habits of Work, why is that? And if the student can't give you an answer, by all means, please call the school and talk to the teacher. Because if there's anything we can do to support, we want to do that. We are also a competency-based school here at Frederick High School. So your report card will look exactly like everybody else's. You still get a GPA. The difference between a competency-based school and what other schools are doing, we don't grade on a 0 to 100. We grade on a rubric. Every class discipline has a rubric. And if you go to our website, if you click on CBE, you can scroll down and you can see all the rubrics that are used. The idea behind it is when you look at a grade, you see an 88 on it. Well, what does that mean? It means I got a B. But does that tell me what I got right or what I got wrong? Where can I improve? By looking at the rubric, when you look at your students' grades in Schoology, when you look at an assignment, if you click on the actual grade, it will pull down the rubric that the teacher used to grade. So you can see that you got a 3 and this is why, or this is what you need to do to move up to a 4. Here we do light gradings in our categories. So we have really 3 categories. There's 0 weight categories where things like I need to turn in a signed syllabus. Well, in other schools, kids get academic credit for that. Academic credit shouldn't be awarded for signing in something. But you want to mark it in the gradebook if they did or did not turn it in. We have formative, which is practice work. So formative counts as 20% of the student's grade. And we have summative, which is the end. That counts for 80% of the grade. Now, since 80% of the grade is kind of a lot, we offer reassessment on summatives. So if you didn't do so hot the first time, as long as you turn in all your formative work, as long as you engage in a relearn experience of some sort, you can give it another shot. And you may not have to take that test all over again. There may have been one little factor that you didn't get quite right. The goal is to hone in on what you need to do to grow and then give the student the opportunity to make that growth. Links experiences, this is another big one. So I talked about pairing up with business partners. We have people that come into the school and work with kids, and we take trips all the time. Sometimes I feel like this place is just a revolving door of kids going in and out, trying everything. This is a really cool place right here. It's Yakabad. It's in downtown Frederick. It's like a little slice of Silicon Valley. I mean, you go there and there's these computer programmers riding around on skateboards. It's crazy. This is a trip we took to the Naval Academy. A couple years ago, we had a lot of students say that they were thinking about being in the Navy. So going down there and hearing that, hey, if you want to go to the academy, you need to know calculus. These trips are great for freshmen, so you can start to see this is all the classes that you need to take. This is where you want to go. This, I believe, that might be Dr. Huber from NCI, Cancer Institute, coming in to work with kids on a pre-medicine track. Students, you've started something called a student success plan, and if parents, if you want to see the student success plan, ask your student to open up their Naviance. It will be in there. That's where students answer questions. What do you want to do? What connections do you want to make? What are some career opportunities? Our Links advocates actually look at those student success plans, and they create a calendar. And once you go into Schoology, you'll get your Chromebooks the first couple days of school. So parents, what you may want to do is ask your students to look at what's in the Links Schoology so you can look at all the things that we have. This is a calendar from, I think it was a year or two ago. And you can see that the things in green happen in Learning Lab, and I'll talk about that in a second. Orange are college visits. Red is taking off campus. And what students can actually do is they can sign up. A lot of these trips go really quickly. A bus can only hold so many people. So parents, open up that Links Schoology page and look at it and talk about it with your student. If there's something in there that you want to do or you want them to go on, have them sign up. All Links experiences are free. So to back up a little bit, a couple other people that we have available. Miss Melcher is going to be a very important person if you want to do internships. And at Frederick High School, we can start you an internship starting around the sophomore year if that's what you want to do. We try to get kids doing what they want to do as quickly as we can. So work-based learning, if in your junior or senior year, you've knocked out all your required classes and you have a job, you can do work-study where for half a day, or even we have some seniors their last semester, they don't even come on our campus because they're doing work-study where they're earning money and they're getting college credit at the same time. Another new person here this year is Miss Keller. She is our career coach. She's kind of an extension of what our advocates do. So think of the advocates start to try to funnel it down to a couple choices. And then what Miss Keller can do is try to nail it down. Like if you have 3 things, what can we do to nail it down to 2 and give you a more focused experience? Let's see what else we got here. So here's our bell schedule. Starts at 7:30 in the morning. It's going to hurt Wednesday, but yes, it starts at 7:30 in the morning. It isn't, and when I say starts at 7:30 in the morning, that's not arriving to campus at 7:30. That's I'm seated in my first period class at 7:30 in the morning. And you can see how our day progresses on an advocacy day, which will be on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We have advocacy in the middle. On the non-advocacy days, classes are 90 minutes long each. Students, you will find out what lunch shift you're on in your 3rd block class. That's always a big one. Another thing that we have here through Links is we have our Block 5 Learning Lab. So if you need extra help, our Learning Lab is staffed by certified teachers. So you're struggling a little bit in math, go to Learning Lab. We can get you a bus ride home, and we also have through the federal supper program a free supper. So a student that wants to go to Learning Lab, what they would do is at 2:15, head on up to the Learning Lab, which is in our library. We do ask that if you are going to do Learning Lab, you have to sign up by 1:15. And the reason for that being is we make custom bus routes every day. Our Learning Lab bus may not get you exactly to your driveway like your bus stop does, but we will get you in the neighborhood. We have 2 buses to get the entire school there, and it's worked out pretty good so far. Parents, if you are dropping your student off, especially during the first week of school, get here early. Those first 2 days of school, I've seen traffic go all the way down to Klein Boulevard. The best thing that you can do to help us with that is when you drop off your student, go all the way down. You'll see an assistant principal standing at that crosswalk urging you to go all the way down to the practice field. We need everybody to go down. And when your car is against the curb, have the student get out and go. That might mean they might have to walk 10, 20 steps. But if we're waiting to let everybody out of the car, even like waiting until I'm at the stairs, it's going to take some time. But once your car has come to a stop and you're against that curb, out and go. And also too, and I know this might be a little bit early for freshmen, but and I get it, I have a kid that's learning to drive myself. This is not the time to do that because there's not enough time for the kid to get out of the car, you to switch spots, get yourself situated and go. We gotta move fast. One thing that we haven't been doing a great job here at Frederick High the past couple of years is getting kids to class on time. So we want everybody in class ready to go right at 7:30. Also parents, what we do ask is, I know the car line can be kind of a pain in the butt, but stick to the car line. Do not drop your students off in the back of the building where buses are dropping off. It's a safety issue. This is my 8th year here as principal. I have yet to have 1 year where a student isn't almost hit by a bus because they're being dropped off back there. So for their safety and your safety, please don't do that. Also, if you think you're going to drop them off and then cut through the back by the greenhouse side to get out, you're going to be in line forever because nobody's going to let you into the car line. So stay in the car line and we will get you through. Also, please do not cut through the parking lot area where staff and students are getting out. Again, if cars are weaving back and forth in between, we run the risk of somebody getting hit, and we don't want to see that happen. So we talked about attendance. It is so important that if your student is not here, when they come back, they come in with a note. If you have an unlimited amount of doctor's notes you can write, so you're picking them up to go to a dentist appointment, when you drop them off, be sure they have a note from that doctor. You can write up to 10 parent notes within a term, so please do that. We have a late work policy. Students aren't allowed to make up work if they are illegally absent. Again, it's one of these things with high school. If you're absent too much, you won't earn credit, and if you're legally absent, you won't be allowed to make up the work. So the rule of thumb is always come in with a note. If you can't give the note to your child and bring it in, you can always email it to our attendance secretary at fhsattendance@fcps.org. If you have a student that is leaving early, kids cannot just leave the building. If they tell you, oh mom, it's fine, I'll meet you out by the bridge, no problem, they lie. You can't just walk out of the building. So if you do need to pick up your child, call the school and say, hey, please dismiss David at such and such a time, and then we will make that happen for you. Our preference is you come into the building and you show an ID, but sometimes life doesn't always let that happen. Kids just can't walk out. And the other thing to tell them is, if we have a policy in the building, they can't have cell phones during class, but sometimes folks get on cell phones. Hi, mom and dad, I don't feel good, can I come home? They can't go out that way. You have to sign up through the health room. We are responsible for the students. So if your child calls and says, hey, I don't feel good, can I come home? Ask them to go down to the health room to sign out that way. Then the health nurse will call you, get permission, and you can either come pick them up, or if you give permission for them to leave, because we do have many walkers, we can let that happen too. We just need to talk to legal guardian before we let them go. Just more attendance stuff, and we already talked about this. Student athletes, this is an important one. Students who arrive after 9 a.m. may not participate in any extracurricular activities that day without administrative waiver or approval. So if you don't come in with a note, doctor's appointments are big ones, because I get, doctors aren't the most convenient people to schedule anymore because there's like 3 left in Frederick County. But if you do have a doctor's appointment, you are an athlete, have them bring in a note, and this is very important. The note has to say cleared for participation in athletics, or else we won't be allowed to let them participate in practice or the game. So again, what you do in an absence, call the phone number or just email fhsattendance@fcps.org. We do send out text messages, so we do have everybody's cell phone in there, that we will send automated text message out at the end of the day if your child is marked absent from 1 or more of their classes. So just in the category of things that make you go, you dropped them off at the beginning of the day, and then you get a text message that David wasn't present during block 1 and 3. That might be a conversation you may want to have with your student. Where were you during block 1 and 3? And if they come back with, Dad, I was there, call the teacher, call the school, ask for an administrator, and we can track it down. Sometimes teachers make mistakes, but most of the time they don't when it comes to stuff like this. So if you're getting these text messages and you drop your child off, you put them on the bus, but it's still appearing that they aren't in class, please call the school so we can try to nip that in the bud. Late arrivals, students who arrive in their period 1 class after 7:30 are considered late. Students arriving after 7:30 should report to the attendance office where their lateness will be recorded, and students should always have a note explaining why they are tardy. Progressive discipline will be followed for continued lateness to school. So you get like a strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. And once we get to strike 4, if you're late to the notice, you could be looking at progressive discipline. I'm talking lunch detentions and detentions and stuff like that. So please be here, and when you're not here, please bring in a note explaining where you were, and all will be good. Early dismissal, we talked about this as well. Kids just can't walk out of the building. You have to have a note explaining why we are going and where. After school events, so freshmen in particular, pay attention to this. If you want to go to homecoming, and this isn't just freshmen, this is everybody, you must have 85% attendance to attend after-school dances. So for example, our homecoming is on October 28th. That if you miss more than 7 days, you're not going to be able to come to the homecoming dance. Now, obviously life happens, and if you need to work with an AP to talk about why you missed 7 days, we might be able to make exceptions. But more time than not, we don't. It is so important that you are in school every day. Students who are suspended for a violent act or an incident involving drugs or alcohol could also receive an activity suspension for a semester or the school year. So you get in a fight, you bring drugs to school, you're under the influence, you won't be coming to any dances, and you will not be coming to any extracurricular activities as a spectator. And anyone, this is a little cart in front of the horse because we got some time, but anyone attending prom must settle all financial obligations before buying the ticket. But we got some time to talk about that. Eligibility, athletics, this is important. Right now, all freshmen are considered eligible. To be eligible for extracurricular, athletics, and field trips, students must maintain a GPA of 2.0 with no failing grades. Students may become ineligible at the end of term 1 and term 3 and semester 1 and semester 2. It is so heartbreaking to see, once we get to the end of the term, that is smack dab in the middle of playoffs for most of our fall sports. So kids that have been working hard on the team but not so hard in the classroom, they find that they're not going to be able to be with the team until the very end because they're not eligible. Please, please, please keep up with those grades. Things like Learning Lab, things like after-school tutoring, all our coaches are fully aware. It's academics first, athletics second. There's not a coach in this building that is not going to say, you must skip academic tutoring so you can be on the team. So please, take care of business in the classroom so you can take care of business on the field. Clubs, we have over 50 clubs available to us here at Frederick High School. Most of our clubs will meet during our advocacy in a rotation. Some clubs do meet after school. We will have a club fair the week of August 28th during lunch where students can learn about all the clubs they can sign up for. Just an example of all the sports that we have. Fall sports are well underway already. Check. You're going to do a winter sports, spring sports, here's everything that's offered. Unified sports is also another fun one that, let's say you're a student that you want to be in a sport, on a sport team, but you don't necessarily want the weight of participating in an MPSSA thing. You just like having fun playing the sport. Unified sport is exactly for you. Performing arts. We are very lucky at Frederick High School. We are one of the few high schools that have a band and a choir teacher and have a very good orchestra program as well. So any performing arts that you want to do, you will find your cup filled here. Dress code. So the biggest thing I can tell you about the dress code, friends, is Frederick High School is a place of business, not leisure. When you come to school in the morning, come dressed to go to school. We're not going to the clubs and we're not going to the beach. So please dress as appropriate. The big thing that we're going to be working on this year, students may not have a head covering and a mask at the same time, unless there is a religious reason and you need to get a waiver from me. But we were having some kids walking around last year where it was like, ninja warriors and all you can see is their eyes. For security reasons, we need to be able to identify everybody on the cameras. So if you're gonna wear a head covering, that's fine. You can't wear a mask. And if you're gonna wear a mask, that's fine, but you can't wear a head covering as well for security reasons. More stuff about the dress code. Really, there's nothing different between the dress code in high school and middle school. So code of conduct. This next, and we're coming to the end, I promise. This is a video that my boss, Dr. Dyson, our superintendent, asked that we share with all parents. It's about a minute long.
This year is to get good grades, to be a leader, and to take action.
My goal this year is to pass all my classes.
My goal this year is to get a job at 15, 16, and my dream is to become a cosmetologist or a vet.
My goal for this school year is to be a great student athlete.
Our students have goals. So do we as a school system. Our goals focus on 5 key areas. They are organizational culture of achievement, operational excellence, safety and well-being, stakeholder engagement, student and staff experience. Each goal supports our mission to ensure that every student has a safe and supportive space to learn and grow. In FCPS, all students are expected to understand and demonstrate the appropriate behaviors covered in the Code of Conduct. You are encouraged to review the Code of Conduct and expectations with your student before the start of the school year. The Code of Conduct can be found at fcps.org, or you can access it from the QR code found on your screen. To our more than 46,000 students, we are here to help you reach your individual goals and to collectively meet our joint goals. So together, let's have a great year.
Oh, technology is fun. So as I said, I'll be sending this presentation out for you guys to take a look at. When the students come home with the syllabus, there'll be links to our Code of Conduct in there. And basically the Code of Conduct, it is a standardization between behavior. So what we want is consistency between all the schools. So all the expectations at Frederick High School are the same things at TJ High School and Tuscarora High School. So we can all be on the same page about that. But if you will want to read it word for word, there is a link to get in there, and again, I will be emailing the link tomorrow. So what we've done with that Code of Conduct is we do have just a couple things that I do need to talk about, that hopefully this is the only time I'm talking about it, but a couple important things. Drugs and alcohol not permitted in our school. You cannot have them on you. You cannot be under the influence. If you get caught with drugs or alcohol, either possession or being under the influence of it, you will be suspended and you will be referred to the health department. Please don't do it. Weapons, hopefully in 2023, this is a no-brainer. There is never a reason for having a weapon on this campus, whether it be a gun, whether it be a knife, anything that's going to damage somebody else should not be on our campus. If you are found with it, there will be extreme consequences. Students, we have a saying, if you see something, say something. And I get nobody likes being a snitch. But if you see something that is not safe, please come to an adult and let us know. We're not going to advertise that you were the ones that said anything. And you don't have to point out anybody in the middle of a cafeteria. But there have been so many tragedies over this nation, over the years, that we might have been able to prevent had people spoken up and said something. Our number one job as administrators and teachers here are to keep you safe. We need your help to do that. So if you see something that doesn't look safe, please report it so we can look into it. Cell phone, this is something that's we've been doing here for 2 years now, but this is in the Code of Conduct, so this is all Frederick County Public Schools. Basically, the moral of the story is if you have to have a cell phone, you are not allowed to have it out during class. Mom and dad, if the kids come home to you and say, Miss So-and-so said I need to have a cell phone, they lie. You do not need to have a cell phone to be successful here in high school. We will give you a Chromebook over the next 2 or 3 days, so all the online stuff you need to do, you do not need a cell phone to access it. However, I am a realist, and I understand that most people do have cell phones, so if you do need to use your cell phone, you can use it during class transitions, and you can use it at lunch. Parents, where you can really help us out with this, is please don't call or text your kids during class. If it's an emergency, please call the school, and we will put them on the phone with you. You can see in this presentation what the bell schedule is. Ask them, what is the bell schedule? So if you want to check in on them, saying, hey, hope your day is going well, during a class transition, that's the time to do it. I will warn you though, this building in particular, the cell phone signal is not great. So unless you're on the 3rd floor on the out wings of the school, the signals probably are not going to go through. School nurse and medical issues. If you need to see our health staff, they are here today. The health room is right in the front lobby, right as you walk out. Students are not allowed to have medication on them, but if they do have to take medication, there's a form that you and your doctor will fill out. You'll bring that form in with the medication, and we will make sure that your child gets the medication they need when they need it. Bullying and harassment, very serious. We do not tolerate it here at Frederick High School. If you feel that you are being bullied, or you know a friend that is being bullied, stand up, come talk to an administrator so we can help make sure that bullying does not go on. If there's anything that's preventing you from getting your education here, come talk to your administrator, come talk to your school counselor, and we will help you work through it. Breakfast and lunch, all students get a free breakfast here at Frederick High School. I don't know why it says $1.85, that should be a free breakfast. But breakfast is free for everybody, lunch is $2.90. This is another important one. Students cannot do outside food. Grubhub, DoorDash are not allowed. If you have your kid DoorDash something, me or an assistant principal will eat it, and we will smile when we do. Please do not, it's a security issue, because if we open it up one, then we have kids open up side doors to let Grubhub in, and are they really a Grubhub person, or are they a friend? So if you need to drop off food for your student, that is 100% okay. Please do not use the food deliveries. And students may not leave campus for lunch unless a parent is here to pick them up. So, hey mom, can I have $10? Because me and my friends are going to go to Five Guys for lunch, but then it's okay, we'll be back in 3rd period. If they say that, they lie. So free and reduced meal applications. This is an important one. If you filled out a free and reduced meal form last year, if you don't fill it out again, your benefits will lapse as of October 6th. On the high school level in particular, there are so many services available for you, whether it's discounted HCC tuition, whether it is free PSAT, it's not just meal benefits, and everything is confidential. I am one of 2 people in the building that can access the free and reduced meal list, and when kids put in their ID number to get their lunch, there is no way of, the kid behind them is not going to know if they're free or reduced meal or not, because it all goes to the same system. So the kid that deposited $1,000 into the account, they go through the same way as a kid who does a free and reduced meal form. So even if you think you're close to this, fill it out. You're not out anything by doing it, and you have a lot to gain. And the online application to access it can be found at that link. So important links that if you're taking pictures, this would be a good one. So our website is up there. School Cash Online, that's how we pay for school fees. There are some classes that do have fees, like sports medicine for a CPR kit. Some of the performing arts have a required thing, and that's how you can pay there. Also, this is an important one too, underclassmen photos, September 5th, 6th, and 7th. So more information will be coming out about that. Everybody gets a picture, and that's what goes in the yearbook, and that's what goes on your photo ID. And that is it. So this was a lot of information coming at you. Me and the APs will be up here to answer questions. Our counselors are out there to get schedules. You have about 40 minutes left to walk the building. Thank you and have a great evening.